Welcome to Brainish English Stories.
Come, tell me where I can find a woman who can love with a true heart, and I will travel around the world to sit one moment at her feet. More. It was a nice day in July. Queen Margaret of Navarre, who was visiting her royal brother, planned a country picnic for the next morning. But King Francis said he would not come. He was sad, and people said it was because he had a fight with a lady he loved. The next day came, but it rained a lot. The sky was dark, and all the plans for the picnic were ruined. Queen Margaret was angry and bored. Her only hope to have some fun was to talk with Francis, but he had closed his door and stayed alone. This made her want to see him even more. She went into his room. Francis was standing at the window. Rain was hitting the glass loudly, and he was writing on the glass with a small diamond. Only 2 beautiful dogs were with him. When Queen Margaret came in, he quickly pulled down the silk curtain in front of the window and looked a bit embarrassed. "What secret are you hiding, my king?" said the queen. "Your face is red. I must see what you wrote." "It is a secret," said the king. "So, my sweet sister, you may not see it." This made Margaret even more curious. She playfully tried to find out. Last, Francis gave up. He lay down on a big sofa with a high back. Margaret smiled and pulled the curtain back to read the words. Francis became serious and thoughtful. He was thinking about the reason why he wrote something bad about all women. "What is this?" said Margaret. "This is almost an insult to the king. Women often change. Foolish is the man who trusts them. A small change would make this better. Should be. Men often change. Foolish is the woman who trusts them." I could tell you 20 stories about men who are not loyal. I only want to hear one true story about a woman who stayed loyal, said Francis. But please don't make me angry. I want to be kind to women for your sake. I dare you, said Margaret, to show me one good lady who is not loyal. Not even Emily de Lagny? Asked the king. This was a painful topic for the queen. Emily had grown up in Queen Margaret's own house. She was the most beautiful and the most good-hearted of all her ladies. Emily had loved the Sire de Lagny for a long time, and they had a happy wedding. But the happiness did not last long. Just 1 year later, de Lagny was accused of giving a fortress to the emperor on purpose. Because of this, he was sent to prison for life. First, Emily was very sad. She visited her husband in the dark prison often. When she came back from seeing him, she cried so much that people worried she might die from sadness. Then, suddenly, Emily disappeared. People looked for her, but they only found out something shameful. She had left France, taken her jewels, and gone with her young page, Robinet Leroux. People whispered that during their travels, Emily and the young man sometimes stayed in the same room. Queen Margaret was very angry when she heard this and told everyone to stop looking for Emily. Now, when her brother made fun of her, Margaret tried to protect Emily. She said she believed Emily had done nothing wrong. She even said proudly that within 1 month, she would prove Emily was innocent. "Robinett was a handsome boy," said Francis, laughing. "Let's make a bet," said Margaret. "If I lose, I will keep your terrible poem as my motto and carry it in shame until I die. But if I win, I will break my window and give you whatever you ask," said the king. This bet became a famous story told by many singers and poets. Queen Margaret sent out 100 people to search. She also offered rewards for any news about Emily, but no one could find her. The month was almost over, and Margaret would have given many expensive jewels to keep her promise. The day before the month ended, the man who kept the prison where de Lagny stayed came to speak with the queen. He brought a message from de Lagny. The knight said that if Queen Margaret would ask the king to forgive him, and if she could bring him in front of the king, then she would win the bet. Queen Margaret was very happy and quickly agreed. Francis didn't want to see his old servant, who he thought had betrayed him. But he was in a good mood because that morning a knight had brought good news of a big win against the emperor's army. In the message, this knight was called the bravest and boldest man in all of France. The king gave him many gifts, but he was sad that the knight would not show his face or say his name, because of a promise he had made. That same evening, as the sun went down and shone on the window where Francis had written his unkind poem, he was resting again on the same big sofa. Queen Margaret sat next to him, her eyes shining with victory. The prisoner was brought in with guards. He looked weak from suffering, and he walked slowly and unsteadily. He knelt down in front of King Francis and took off his hat. Long, beautiful golden hair fell down over the thin face and pale skin of the person on the ground. "We have a trick here," shouted the king. "Jailer, where is your prisoner?" "Sire, please don't blame him," said a soft, shaking voice. "It was Emily. Even wise men have been fooled by a woman. My dear husband did not do the bad thing people said he did. There was only one way to save him. I took his place in prison. He escaped with Robinett Leroux, wearing my clothes. He went to your army. The brave young knight who brought the message to you, the one you gave many gifts to, was my own husband, Gerard de Lagny. I waited for him to bring proof of his innocence before I told the truth to the queen. Now has she not won her bet? And the gift she asks for is de Lagny's pardon," said Margaret, as she also knelt in front of the king. "Forgive your loyal knight, sire, and reward this lady for her honesty." Francis broke the window where he had written the unkind words. Then he helped both ladies stand up. Later, at a big festival held to celebrate this victory of the ladies, the Sire de Lagny won every prize in the tournament. And truly, there was more beauty in Emily's pale face, and more kindness in her thin, tired body, which showed her deep love, than in the proud looks and fresh faces of the other beautiful women at the royal party.